Hello, hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Awaken Life Radio. If you are interested in all things authentic when it comes to emotional healing and spiritual awakening, you are absolutely in the right place. This work that I offer with Awaken Life Radio has to do with the embodiment of spiritual teachings. And there's a difference between understanding and actually living into the teachings that we come to understand on the spiritual journey. And the thing about bridging that gap is that it requires practice and clearing on all levels. We are of nature. And in Awaken Life Radio, we love to talk about all the ways that we can attune ourselves to nature through the laws of vibration and through understanding the path of the heart. Now, the path of the heart is available to all people from all traditions throughout time and space. And Awaken Life Radio is a podcast about being a spiritual being, having a human experience in a world gone mad. And so, if you are overwhelmed by the world, you are absolutely paying attention. And if you know that there's more and you're inspired to do more, be more, experience more fulfillment than just reacting to the falling of the patriarchy, you're absolutely in the right place. And we know that we very well may be at one of our mass extinction events at this time. And it's absolutely urgent that we all find a sense of peace and connectivity without burning out, which has been a big lesson for me as a member of the Western North Carolina Asheville community. I'm a survivor of Hurricane Helene, and we went through a collective trauma experience a couple of years ago that really revealed to me what it felt like to have trauma play out in the body in a whole new way. After 20 plus years as a massage therapist and yoga teacher and healing practitioner, I had experienced helping people move out of pain and moving through negative emotional patterns in their family. And I became a coach in 2014 because I wanted to help people really work on that self reflective, self aware level beyond just physical health into spiritual, mental, emotional health. And so I created Awaken Life School. And then in 2020, we launched this podcast, Awaken Life Radio, to be an extension of the teachings for free to be available for anyone and everyone who could hear my voice and the voices of our guests. This week, we are discussing the power of joy. So if you're here listening live or in the future now, thank you so much for tuning in. Your participation in listening, in downloading, in sharing this podcast helps spread awakening globally. And I really, really appreciate it. Each one of you is a precious gift. We forget often who we are. We feel overwhelmed by the world, but yet the truth is that we are all sacred, divine, and precious and worthy of being appreciated and having our needs met. So, we're going to talk about how healing is an inside job. And ultimately, today we're going to talk about finding joy in a world gone mad. So, we're going to talk about what it means to really find joy when around you uh, the republic is crumbling. So, so to begin, I'm going to invite you to take a nice deep breath with me and to do a body scan. So notice what it is that you feel in your body. Notice anything that you feel. And then take a breath and make a little bit of space in your awareness for some new information to be shared with you. So consciously intend to have a little space to be able to receive some new guidance. And again, thank you so much for being here. Please do like and subscribe. And if you'd like to rate our podcast, that would be great if you're listening on Spotify or Apple in the future. We really appreciate 5 stars and we appreciate all feedback. but especially 5 stars. Which brings me to the topic of joy that comes as a result of relating. So, as we open the door to this episode on finding joy, I could really summarize everything that I want to say in 5 minutes or less, which is that the power to experience joy is as natural as a giggling baby who you make a funny face at or who you beam love at. When that child lights up, she is not thinking she's trying to make you happy. She's not trying to perform. She's naturally allowing joy to be expressed. So, what's possible when we naturally allow joy to be expressed through us as us in our relationships and in our lives? So, let's consider what's possible. So, when joy is natural, not because of anything that happened, not because of any needs being met, not because of any spiritual experience, but literally joy is available, what is possible? Perhaps you feel lighter, obviously happier. You may tend to be magnetic. So people will be like, what's she so happy about? People will want to be around you if you're emitting joyful energy. You no longer need to chase joy on the outside because you have it and you get to experience it. And if you have any other thoughts about what's possible with joy, I'd love to hear them. Feel free to share with me. If you're on YouTube, you can share in the comments. So, as we dive deeper, we can start to understand joy as a lightness of being, as a positive emotion that can arise as a result of many things: tickling a child, barefoot on the grass in spring, smelling dandelions, eating your favorite chocolate, a hug from someone you love, a spiritual experience, perhaps, of light in the body or kundalini. You could feel joy because you just received a gift, some flowers. You could feel joy because you feel good about yourself. You've been taking good care of yourself and you feel good about yourself. And you can also feel good. So you might feel good in your body, which takes me into more of the essence of the quality joy of joy. So if we can see joy as an embodied state of lightness of being, an open heart, happiness, then we can start to access the energy that is joy without needing a circumstance to get us there. And this is the special, special sauce of manifesting. In manifesting work, we know that when we tune into the vibrations of that which we desire, we start to attune ourselves to the frequencies as if we're experiencing that thing. If we are able to keep our frequency in the heart and in lightness and in joy, we are able to attract more positivity in our lives. Okay. And again, the energy is lightness. It isn't, it's open. Joy is open. It doesn't take things so seriously. It's not overthinking. It is a natural state and a natural emotion. Now, from Chinese medicine and Taoism, we understand that joy is related to healthy, positive energy moving in the heart, and that heartbreak, resentment, hatred could actually block joy, as can worry, fear, anxiety, uh, grief. So, if you're dealing with these other emotions, I want to name it's valid. You are human, a spiritual being having a human experience, but human nonetheless. And as a human, you are going to feel sad, frustrated, angry, afraid. These negative emotions happen for a specific reason. I want to talk about why they happen. So, again, I want to talk about why they happen. So, from a Chinese medicine point of view, the blocked energy of the elements in our bodies will create negative emotional experiences. For example, if you are worried, it's hard to be grounded. When you get grounded, you can alchemize worry into nurturing support and connection. With joy, if you're mad at somebody, that will be blocking you from feeling joy. So it's important that we alchemize and clear the negative emotional stories and patterns that we hold in our bodies that keep us from being joyful. So it's not simply, I could just be joyful. Life is great. I'm joyful. I'm joyful. We call that often a bypass. So we want to make sure that we're not just putting attention on joy, but that we're also alchemizing the negative emotional responses. Now, part two of negative emotional response. According to nonviolent communication, NVC, we have negative emotional responses as a result of unmet needs. What does that mean? That means that I have needs to be seen, to be held, to be honored, to be respected, to be cared for, to be provided for, to play, to connect with spirit, to feel safe. And if those needs are not being met, a negative emotional response, worry, grief, anxiety, fear, these things will actually come online as a result. So when we are looking at creating more joy, opening up our energy to more joy, letting more joy flow in the body, it's crucial to acknowledge when and why that's difficult. If that is difficult, you may have a bunch of needs, and I think most of us do, that are not being met, that when met, help prepare the mind, body, and the spirit for an integrated experience of joy, starting at the foundational level of feeling safe and feeling healthy in the body. So, you know that old saying, health is wealth? In my experience, health and vitality in my body literally increase joy and joyful experiences because my energy is moving. So let's look at emotion. So joy is an emotional state, although some claim joy is more than an emotion. It's a spiritual state. Okay. If it's a positive energetic state, and I am doing the excavation of my negative emotional body and responses, and I'm focusing on getting my needs met through communicating with people I love, for setting myself up to win, to make sure I get enough rest, enough play, enough exercise, enough healthy food, etc. Then I have space for joy to emerge from within. If I am alchemizing my negative emotional responses and I am making sure that my needs are being met, then I have space for joy to emerge. We understand that the addiction with screens and screen time is very much tied in to the dopamine hits that we get every time we get a notification or we click or somebody sends us a message, that the interaction alone creates a dopamine response, which when you're isolated and alone, you long for. Why? Because there's a spark of dopamine, which is happy hormones, that the love hormones, these are the hormones that women produce when they're postpartum and breastfeeding, naturally, dopamine. Dopamine happens when we feel in love as well. That our addiction to getting that can actually be met in a more sustainable way when our needs for healthy relationships are being met, when our needs for connection are being met, when our need for play, for safety are all being met. So, yeah, does it make you happy to watch something funny on Netflix? Sure. Great. Does it bring you joy? Great. We want to feed the joy frequencies, but in order to do so, we also must acknowledge the other aspects. Okay, so whether you're in therapy, whether you do plant medicine, healing work, simply meditation, even, is a powerful way to alchemize emotion. We're going to talk about emotion into from negative emotion to positive emotion. Now, emotion is energy in motion. So, to move your grief into courage is an alchemized practice that you can do, that we do in my groups, my online memberships, we do in my projects, in order to make sure that people's energy is moving. What happens when our energy doesn't move is the cells get sticky, and sticky cells create disease, create cancer. And often those negative emotions, when buried under the rug or pushed down in trying to be happy or trying to be positive, often as a result of that pushing down, there's a festering. So please, please, please make sure that you are setting yourself up to be in spaces where you can alchemize your negative emotions and keep your emotions moving to feed your desire for joy. Now, in Awakening Map Method, which is the topic of my book and that what we work on with the awakening cards, we have an opportunity to start to embody more of our intentions through both clearing negative emotional responses, alchemizing it through movement, but also simply being present with the messages that the body is telling us. So, what I want you to know about creating more joy in these times is that your inner work, spiritual work, psychosomatic work, and work to be healthy, eat healthy, and exercise are all crucial in order to create more movement and space within your body and within your energy field, so that the fear, grief, anxiety, stress is not taking up space that would be better taken up by positive emotional responses. Now, if you have any questions, absolutely post them. If you're listening live, post them in the YouTube. If you're listening in the future, post them below. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me. hello@narayanigaia.com. And if you want to go deeper, I want to make sure that you know about the upcoming membership program where we are going through the Awaken Embodied teachings week by week. And I'll put a link to that below. I'm very excited to be announcing that very soon, because when we're in community with other people that are committed to healing and awakening our human potential, we move faster. Just like if all parts of you are on board to go on a trip, you got the money, you got the energy, you got the time, you're going to have all that energy to pack and to make it happen. When more people are on board with the same intention, it maximizes the collective energy fields to create that thing. That's how we found with transcendental meditation research that in areas where thousands of people have meditated at the same time, crime rates have gone down. So, community is absolutely a crucial element to be able to stay in joy, because it is not the thing that is going to make you happy or bring you joy. Although temporary experiences and relation dynamics can bring joy, joy is truly an inside job. And when lots of people are doing the inner work to experience the joy, then joy is imminent. Okay, now I am going to take a pause to make sure that this sound is working. Thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope that this helped you. Now it looks like my mic has been off this whole time. Woo! Let's see. But listen, please do share this podcast if this was interesting to you and if you heard me. And if you did not hear me, I am sorry, but you can hear me now.